Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I feel like it's been a while since I've filmed, and it kind of has. I've had gum surgery this last week. Well, it's been 7 days now. I've had gum surgery, and it hurts. It hurts to talk or smile or laugh. And instead of healing properly, apparently I'm having some kind of reaction to the stitches. And so I have not been wanting to film. I'm still not feeling 100%, so I'm going to try to film this as fast as I can. But I did want to get this filmed because I'm starting to forget the books and I don't want to forget them. All right, so the first book that I read in September was Lost in Darkness by Michelle Griep, and that is our Christian fiction book club pick for the month of September. It was also on my list of books that I wanted to read in the fall, so I get to cross that off. This book is historical Christian fiction. It has really good faith content, and it's kind of a Frankenstein retelling. I really enjoyed the gothic aspects of it, the Frankenstein aspect of it, but this was a really difficult book for me to read. It had some things in it that I just have a hard time reading. For one, the main character's mother had died, and he had a lot of guilt over her death and was struggling with that, and she had a lot of faith. So I don't know if you've seen my testimony video or not, but I related to that man a lot and a lot of the things he was thinking and feeling. And I struggle with reading about grief and about moms passing away. So I didn't love reading that, but it was well done. And then the ending of the book was really depressing. It just really brought me down. It was a really tough read. I only ended up giving it 3 stars because I was so emotionally drained at the end of it. I felt exhausted from reading it. So it was not my favorite book, but it was a well-written book and it had great faith. So it's still a book that I would recommend. I've also read The House at the End of the Moor by Michelle Griep, and I really liked that book a lot. So I would choose that one over this one because that one wasn't depressing for me. But anyway, moving on. The next book I read was The Mist of Midnight by Sandra Byrd. That also was on my fall reading list, so I'm doing pretty well. That one I gave 4 stars, and that one is also historical Christian fiction. This takes place in England, and it's about a woman whose parents were British missionaries, and when she was little, the whole family moved to India to be missionaries in India. And then after her parents died, she came back to reclaim her family estate in England. And when she shows up, she's told that she had already returned and claimed the estate, that another woman had come back earlier and claimed the estate, saying that she was who this woman was and that the house was hers. But not too long after that woman had arrived and claimed the estate, she died. And so now there's another distant family member who's been staying at the estate and working to try to inherit it. So she comes back from India and she is trying to figure out who this woman was who claimed her identity and her relationship with the distant family member who's staying in the house. I thought it was a really good mystery. It's gothic-y. It's a perfect read for this time of year. And it had good faith content, so I gave it 4 stars. The next one I read was The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and this is the first time that I've read The Hobbit, like, ever in my life. I know the story very well because I grew up watching the cartoon, and then I watched all the movies many times. So I was glad to actually get to the book, and the book was excellent. This book was also on my fall reading list, so that's 3 for 3 right here. I wanted to read this one in the fall because Bilbo Baggins' birthday is my birthday, which is the first day of fall, which is tomorrow, but I'm not sure when I'm posting this video. So as I'm filming this, it's September 21st, but my birthday is September 22nd, which for me is tomorrow. I wasn't sure what time of year The Hobbit takes place, but it basically takes place over an entire year. It starts in April or May. It starts in the spring and then goes through the whole year. So it wasn't necessarily a fall read, but it did have spiders and goblins and things like that are kind of creepy. So yeah, I thought it was excellent. I'm not surprised that I loved it. I love his writing and his characters and the way that he describes the land, everything. The only thing that I don't love about his books is the songs. There's way too much singing in his books for me. I don't like when there's songs in books. So, but other than that, I thought it was great. The next one is one I got from the library, and that is A 3-Book Problem by Vicky Delany. This is a Sherlock Holmes bookshop mystery. So it is a contemporary cozy mystery, but the main character owns a Sherlock Holmes bookshop in Emporium. This is in New England somewhere, like Massachusetts. And next door to her or across the street, there is a Mrs. Hudson's tea shop. And so Sherlock is a big part of this book and the whole series. I think there's 8 or 9 books in the series right now, and this was book 7 that I read. I hadn't read any of the other books. I just picked this one up, and apparently you can do that. I read this one with no problem. I didn't need to start at the beginning, but this one takes place in a mansion in New England. It takes place in fall. So right from the very beginning, they talk about the leaves changing color and how beautiful New England is and the sights and the smells. So it's a great book to read for this time of year. But at the mansion, the woman who owns the Sherlock bookshop, I can't remember her name, and the woman who owns the tea shop, they pair up to work at the mansion for a weekend because a man who loves Sherlock hired them for a weekend to basically cater and do like a Sherlockian weekend for a bunch of Sherlock fans that he invites to the mansion. He wants to have like a full-blown Sherlock experience for a bunch of people at the mansion. So of course, because this is a cozy mystery, someone dies, and the woman who owns the Sherlock bookshop is like an amateur sleuth, and so she is working out to figure out who killed the person. I don't want to give anything away, but I thought this book was great. I loved the characters. It was like a closed room mystery because you're wondering who in the house did the deed. And I loved the setting. I loved all of the Sherlock references because it's about a group of Sherlock fans. So it was perfect for me, perfect for this time of year. I just really loved it, and I will definitely read more from this series. And the last one I'm going to talk about is a classic that I read, which was also on my fall list. And that is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. This was a short read, so if you're looking for a shorter classic to read, maybe try this one. Although I didn't love this book. I gave it 2 stars. And the reason why I didn't love it is because it was short. I felt like it was over edited. I feel like there were a whole lot of things that were left out or details that should have been added in to help me understand what was going on and to help me care about what was happening. So the book itself felt very choppy, and it would go from this random person being murdered to, you know, a conversation between 2 people I have no idea who are talking, and then another random person is murdered. So I just didn't connect to any of the people in the story. There really wasn't enough of the story to get much of like the atmosphere, the setting, the time, the place, all that stuff. So yeah, it just wasn't my favorite. I will say, if you're looking for a story that's similar, The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, I think is better. That one you get more, it's more fleshed out of a story, and it has similar vibes of a man, you know, taking a potion to become something else. So anyway, guys, that is all I've got for right now. I really shouldn't be talking this much. So I'm going to get off of here. I hope y'all have a great first day of fall, which is today or tomorrow, whenever you're watching this video. And I will see y'all soon. Bye.